British American Tobacco South Africa is blaming government's ban during lockdown for the rise in the illicit trade in cigarettes. Now, the company is in a legal tussle with government over the ban. Our reporter Heidi Jokas has been tracking that story for us, and she joins me now. A very good afternoon to you, Heidi. So, you got a tour of the BATSA factory. Now, speak to us about the losses that the factory has had to endure during the hard lockdown.
Yes, most certainly, Morena. I think it's important to highlight that this was an industry that suffered massive losses due to the fact that there was a ban on the sale of tobacco products locally. We do know that the regulations soon after changed during the hard lockdown to allow exporting to take place. But locally, these massive tobacco companies were unable to sell. And of course, there were massive losses, not just only for these tobacco companies, but also for government, as government was losing out on the excise tax that comes with selling tobacco products. But when we got to visit this British American tobacco factory in Heidelberg, which is the 8th largest factory that BAT owns, we got a sense of how things are done, but also got a sense of how production actually slowed down during the hard lockdown, and how the company is still reeling. And now that excise tax has been increased in the recent February budget by the finance minister, they aren't expecting things to get better anytime soon. But let's listen to the general manager about the losses that they incurred during the hard lockdown.
It's consistently provided empirical evidence. We've done research through either our industry associations or by ourselves. Thus far, all we've heard from those that have alleged, they have not actually provided any evidence towards that. They've just thrown mud because they think it would stick. Actually, this is exactly what we would want to see happening as part of the entire enforcement approach that we've been calling for. If this could be actually on the table, we would welcome that with open hands. In fact, we would like to see end-to-end supply chain investigations of all these players in the tobacco space. And let's get to the bottom of this matter. This challenge was posed to us by our opponents because they believed actually we would shy away from this. Actually, as part of our comprehensive approach to request enforcement by the law enforcement authorities, this would be exactly the kind of thing that would allow us to get to the bottom of the illicit industry, to know exactly who the players are, what it is that they are doing, how they are benefiting from this, and hopefully, start seeing prosecutions.
Of course, Heidi, there we're also hearing for calls for an inquiry into the illicit trade in that particular bite. But of course now, BATSA could also be heading to court soon. Now, this of course is regarding a recent court judgment declaring the ban unlawful.
Yes, so I just quickly want to highlight, Morena, what that soundbite was alluding to. There has been a call for an inquiry into tobacco manufacturers, and this speaks to the fact that tobacco companies have been fingered in benefiting from illicit trade. We do know that during the hard lockdown, even though there was a lockdown and there was a ban on the sale of tobacco products, smokers were still getting access to cigarettes. And of course, there's a call for an inquiry into the tobacco companies, and BAT is saying that they welcome this. They will participate, and they will provide all the necessary evidence needed. For example, what's given to SARS, how much they produce, how many cigarettes they produce on a daily. But just going back to your point with regards to legal action, we do know that BATSA headed to the Western Cape High Court a couple of months ago, seeking to declare the ban on the tobacco sale unlawful. Of course, the Western Cape High Court ruled in favour of BATSA, saying that the ban was indeed unlawful and there was no logical basis for government to impose that ban. But we do know that COGTA Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma has been granted leave to appeal on that application. And this is concern for BATSA because they are wondering whether or not government might consider imposing a ban again, even though government says at this stage they're not planning to do so. But depending on what COVID-19 and what the third wave will impose, there is concern. But, BAT saying that government has every right to go to courts, but they find that action regrettable.
Heidi, thank you so much. That's our reporter Heidi Jokas, who's been following that tussle between government and BATSA. Now, that's